Chosen one, before you breathe your next breath, understand something that has been forming over you quietly for longer than you know. A relocation order has been issued in the heavens, and it carries your name. The Father has looked at the place where you have been standing, and he has decided that you were never meant to remain there. You were placed there for a season, not for a lifetime. And now, the season has ended. There is a feeling you have been carrying lately, a strange restlessness you could not explain. You have tried to settle, tried to make peace with where you are, and yet something in your spirit refuses to lie down. That is not anxiety. That is not failure. That is the sound of a soul that has already been reassigned, waiting for the rest of you to catch up. You may not have words for it yet, but heaven does. The plan of God is not for you to be comfortable where you have outgrown your purpose. He is moving you. He is carrying you from the place where you were to the place where you belong, and even the discomfort you feel right now is part of how he is doing it. So if your heart is heavy this very moment, if you feel like the ground beneath you is shifting and nothing is staying the way it used to, lean in close. Because this message was prepared for the one who is being moved and does not yet understand why. Nothing about this moment is random. Even the way these words found you on this day, in this exact state of heart, was arranged by a hand that has been watching over your steps all along. For a long time, you lived in a place that taught you how to survive. It was not all bad. There were lessons there, kindnesses there, moments of laughter you will always carry. But somewhere along the way, that place became smaller than the person you were becoming. The walls that once protected you slowly became the walls that contained you. You learned to make yourself fit. You folded parts of your gifting away because they were too large for the rooms you were standing in. You quieted your voice because the people around you could not hold its full sound. You shrank your dreams to match the size of the table you were given, and you called it humility when really it was only survival. There were nights you lay awake sensing that you were built for more, and mornings you talked yourself back into the smaller life because it felt safer than the longing. You became an expert at making the most of a place that was always meant to be temporary. You decorated the waiting room and slowly forgot that it was never your destination. The Father saw every adjustment you made. He saw you dim your light so others would not feel uneasy. He saw you stay loyal to relationships that had stopped growing and stay faithful to rooms that had stopped expanding. He never once blamed you for it. He understood that you were doing the only thing you knew how to do. But understand this, chosen one. A place can be familiar and still not be your home. A relationship can be comfortable and still not be your covenant. A season can feel safe and still be the very thing keeping you from the destiny that has your true name written on it. If you have been feeling a quiet ache, a sense that you have outgrown your own life, take a breath. That ache is holy. It is the first sign that the relocation has already begun deep inside of you, long before anything around you has visibly changed. The soul always knows it is moving before the feet do. The heart packs its bags in secret while the mind is still insisting that everything is fine. Look honestly at the last several months of your life. Count how many things have quietly ended without your permission. Count how many conversations went silent, how many doors you assumed would always be open swung gently shut. You may have read all of it as rejection. Heaven reads it differently. What looked like things falling apart was the architecture of an old life being dismantled so a truer one could be built. You were not being punished. You were being released. And if these words are reaching the deep place in you right now, you might pause and type one simple sacred word below, the word "stay near," so the one who is moving you knows you are listening. Now you may be asking the question that rises in every heart being uprooted. Why now? Why? When things had finally grown quiet, when you had finally learned to manage the smallness, is everything being disturbed again? The answer is gentle, and it is this. You are being moved now because you are finally ready, and because the place prepared for you is finally ready for you. Heaven does not relocate a soul before its time. The Father does not uproot you out of cruelty. He waited until the roots you had grown in the old ground were strong enough to survive the journey to the new. There is a reason the move did not come earlier when you begged for it. Back then, you would have carried the smallness with you. You would have arrived at the new place still folding yourself, still dimming your light, still waiting for permission to be fully alive. The years you spent waiting were not wasted. They were the years that grew you into someone who could finally hold what is coming. Think of how much you have learned in the very seasons that felt like delay. You learned patience in the waiting. You learned discernment in the disappointment. You learned the difference between what glitters and what is real. None of it was lost. The Father was not ignoring your prayers in those years. He was answering a deeper one, the prayer beneath the prayer, the one where you asked not merely to escape, but to become whole. There is also a mercy in the timing you cannot see from where you stand. Had you arrived too soon, you would have brought the old wounds into the new house and decorated it with the same fears. The Father refused to let your future inherit your past. So he let the waiting finish its work. He let it sand away the rough edges, soften the bitterness, and teach your heart to recognize what is genuinely good when it finally arrives. The delay was not denial. The delay was devotion. And there is something else you must hear. The disturbance you feel right now, the shaking of the familiar, is not punishment. It is the hand of God loosening the soil around your roots so that you can be lifted without being broken. A gardener who wants to save a plant does not yank it from the ground. He waters it first. He softens the earth. He works gently around the roots until the whole thing can be carried whole. That is what the discomfort is. That is what the endings are. That is what the doors quietly closing behind you really mean. He is softening the ground so the move does not crush you. He is preparing to carry you, not to drop you. Some of the relationships that have grown distant lately were never meant to make the journey with you. Some of the doors that closed were closed by His hand, because what waits on the other side of them could not coexist with where you are going. You have grieved some of those losses. You have wondered what you did wrong. The answer is nothing. You simply outgrew a chapter, and the author is turning the page. There is a strange mercy in the way certain things fall away right before a great transition. What feels like everything going wrong is often everything being cleared. The room is being emptied so it can be packed for the move. The connections that loosen, the comforts that fade, the certainties that crack, they are not signs that you are losing. They are signs that you are leaving, and leaving is the first half of arriving. So, when you feel the ground move, do not panic. When the old comforts fall away, do not assume you are being abandoned. You are being relocated by the one who loves you enough to refuse to leave you small. Now let your heart turn toward the place you are being moved to, because this is where the message becomes a promise. There is a place that has your name on it. Not a perfect place free of all difficulty, but a true place. A place where the size of the room finally matches the size of your calling. In that place, your voice will not need to shrink. The people there will be able to hold the full sound of who you are. Your gifts will not frighten the room. They will bless it. The very things about you that felt like too much in the old place will become exactly enough in the new one. What was once unwelcome will become the reason you are celebrated. The Father has gone ahead of you to prepare it. He did not send you toward an empty horizon and hope you would find something. He went first. He arranged the people. He aligned the timing. He placed provision in rooms you have not yet entered. The address of your destiny already exists. You are simply being carried toward it one faithful step at a time. There are people in that prepared place who do not yet know your name, but whose lives are already shaped to fit beside yours. There is work waiting that only your particular gifting can do. There is a version of your days that you have not yet tasted, where you wake with purpose instead of dread, where your presence is received as a gift rather than tolerated as a burden. It is being made ready while you are still on the road toward it. And here is the wonder of it. The place prepared for you is not only outside of you, it is also inside of you. The relocation is not only about a new city, a new circle, a new chapter of work. It is about a new identity, a larger sense of who you have always been. God is moving you from the small self that survived into the true self that was always meant to reign. Picture it for a moment. Picture waking in a season where you no longer have to brace yourself against the day. Picture being surrounded by people who recognize the light in you instead of asking you to lower it. Picture work that draws out your gifting instead of burying it. Picture a peace that does not depend on everything staying small and safe, but rests instead on the knowledge that you are exactly where you were always meant to be. And notice how that picture does not depend on everything finally being perfect. It depends only on you being in the right place. There is a peace that belongs to right placement, a settledness that arrives the moment a soul finally stands where it was designed to stand. You have felt the opposite of it for so long that you may have forgotten the feeling has a name. It is called belonging, and it is waiting for you at the end of this move. Do not let the size of the change frighten you. Heaven measures a move by love, not by distance. Whether the prepared place is across a country or simply across the threshold of a new way of living, the Father carries you with the same tenderness. He is not in a hurry to overwhelm you. He moves at the pace your heart can bear, never dropping you, never leaving you stranded, always one step ahead, arranging the next part of the road. That place is not a fantasy, it is your inheritance, and the Father is not asking whether you deserve it. He settled that question long ago. He is simply asking whether you will trust Him enough to let yourself be carried there. Hear this gently, as if it was spoken just above a whisper. I am not taking you from something good to something uncertain. I am taking you from where you survived to where you will finally live. That is the heart of the one who is moving you. Now comes the part where you learn how to cooperate with the move, because a relocation always asks something of the one being relocated. You cannot arrive at the new place while clinging to the old one. The hands that grip the past cannot receive the future. The first thing the Father asks of you is release. There are things you have been holding that were never meant to travel with you. Old offenses you keep rehearsing. Old identities you keep defending. Old versions of your story that end in disappointment. To move forward, you must loosen your grip on the ending you assumed was yours. Let go of the smaller story so the larger one can begin. Release does not mean you pretend the old place never mattered. It means you bless it and let it stay where it belongs, behind you. You can be grateful for a season and still refuse to live in it forever. You can honor the people of the old chapter and still walk into the new one without them. Gratitude and release can hold hands. They were always meant to. The second thing the Father asks is trust through the in-between. Every relocation has a middle, a stretch of road where you have left the old place but have not yet arrived at the new one. This is the part that tests the heart. You cannot see the destination yet, and you can no longer return to what was. The in-between feels like exposure. It feels like waiting in a hallway with every door closed. Do not rush this part, and do not fear it. The hallway is not punishment. The hallway is passage. The Father is closest to you precisely in the in-between, because that is where you have nothing left to lean on but Him. Let the middle do its work. It is teaching you to walk by trust instead of by sight. And that lesson is the very thing you will need in the place you are going. The third thing he asks is faithfulness in the small steps. You do not have to see the whole road. You only have to take the next step that is in front of you. Answer the quiet nudge. Make the call you have been avoiding. Say the yes that frightens you a little. Each small act of obedience is a step closer to the address he has prepared. The move happens not in one dramatic leap, but in 1,000 faithful steps that look ordinary from the outside. And as you walk, keep your heart soft. Bitterness is heavy luggage, and the road to your destiny is too important to carry it. Forgive the people who could not come with you. Forgive the version of yourself who stayed small for so long. Travel light, chosen one. The lighter you travel, the faster you arrive. Releasing also means forgiving the timing itself. Some hearts arrive at the new place still angry that the old one lasted so long. They carry resentment toward the years, and that resentment becomes a weight that slows the whole journey. Lay it down. The years were not stolen from you. They were the soil your roots needed. Bless even the long seasons, and you will find that the road ahead opens more easily before a grateful heart than before a bitter one. There will be moments on the road when fear whispers that you have made a mistake, that you should turn back to what was familiar. In those moments, do not argue with the fear. Simply remember who is carrying you. The same hand that loosened the soil is the hand beneath you now. You are not navigating this move alone with a torn map. You are being escorted by the one who designed the destination. Rest in that and keep walking. Now imagine who you will be when the relocation is complete, because the journey was never only about a place. It was always about a person. It was always about you becoming who you were created to be. The one who arrives at the place prepared will not be the same one who left the old ground. The fear that used to govern you will have quieted. The need to shrink will have left you. You will stand at your full height for the first time, not because you became someone new, but because you finally became who you always were, beneath all the folding and the hiding. You will look back at the old place with tenderness instead of longing. You will understand at last why certain doors closed. You will see that every loss was making room, that every uprooting was a carrying, that every ending was a hand turning a page towards something better. The grief will have become gratitude. The confusion will have become clarity, and you will become a sign for others. People still standing in their own small places, still folding themselves to fit, will look at your life and remember that relocation is possible. Your courage to be moved will become someone else, encouragement to trust their own move. The very journey that felt so lonely in the middle will become the thing that lights the way for those who come behind you. There is a quiet authority that comes to a soul that has allowed itself to be moved. You will speak differently because you will have lived through the in-between and come out whole. You will love more freely because you will no longer be guarding the small life you were afraid to lose. You will carry a calm that cannot be faked, the calm of someone who has been carried by faithful hands and learned that those hands do not fail. People will sense it before you say a word. That is what arrival does to a person. It does not make them louder, it makes them sure. Understand too that this move is not a single event, but the beginning of a new way of walking. The Father is not relocating you once and then leaving you to manage alone. He is teaching you a rhythm, a willingness to be led that will carry you through every season still to come. The same trust you are learning now will become the steady ground beneath every future step. You are not only changing addresses, you are learning how to follow the one who knows the way. This is who you are becoming, a soul that has stopped surviving and started living, a heart that no longer braces against the future, but leans toward it, a life that fits the size of its calling at last. So let your shoulders soften now, and let your heart grow quiet. because the journey of these words is reaching its place of rest. Take a moment, before anything else, simply to be grateful. Grateful that you were not left where you were. Grateful that the restlessness had a meaning. Grateful that the one who loves you cared too much to let you stay small. Let that gratitude rise without words, like warmth filling a quiet room. And now, gently release. Open the hands that have been gripping the old place. Set down the offenses, the smaller story, the fear of the in-between. Let them rest behind you where they belong. You do not need to carry them another mile. You were made to travel light, and you are free to begin. Now hear who you are, spoken clearly over your life. You are not lost. You are being led. You are not abandoned. You are being carried. You are not falling apart. You are being relocated by the hand of the Father into the place that has always had your name. You are seen. You are prepared. You are exactly on time. And if your heart agrees with these words, let it become a declaration. You may type the words, "I am being moved into my place below," not as a wish, but as a quiet truth you are choosing to believe. The old place is behind you. The prepared place is before you. The Father is carrying you across the distance even now, and He will not set you down until you are home. Receive it. Trust it. Let yourself be moved. And so it is.